So what is income tax? Income tax is nothing but the tax which are levied by the government. It came into force from 1/4/1962. There are two types of taxes here, direct tax and indirect tax. Under direct tax, we have income tax, corporate tax, and wealth tax we have here. Whatever the act is going to be framed with the new changes, some of the people may not accept that one. Warm welcome to BCom 5th semester student. The subject we are discussing income tax law and practice. 1. Subject we are going to learn what is income, what are the types of income we have, and why did income tax concept came into existence, and what are the principles are there in taxation process, and meaning of person, assessee, assessment year, previous. These concepts we're going to learn. Even the income, if you're earning from different sources, under which head it is had separated and under which head it is taxable, we are going to discuss, like income from salary, income from house property, income from business or profession, income from capital gains, and income from other sources. These concepts will be discussed in the Income Tax Law and Practice 1. I am Professor Rajesh Ella from Department of Commerce and Management from Vidhyaashram First Grade College, a Temple of Excellence. The agenda for the discussion in this entire session will be the introduction of income tax, the Income Tax Act of 1961, the Annual Finance Acts what we have in this one, and income tax rules as per 1962. The act is 1961, but the rules and regulations are framed in 1962. What are the circulars and notification as per Income Tax Act? What is judicial decisions, and how many types of taxes are there? In this session, we are going to learn these concepts. And for 2 marks question, it is compulsory to know the different types of taxes what we have and what are the difference between the tax, whatever the types of taxes we have here. Introduction. The income tax is a tax levied on the total income of an assessee, being a person charged under provisions of this act for the relevant previous year. So what is income tax? Income tax is nothing but the tax which are levied by the government for the income earned by assessee during previous year on the income whatever earned in previous year. Previous year is nothing but from 1st April 2023 up to 31st March 2024. Whatever the income I have earned, on that the tax is going to be levied by the government. So whether I'm going to fall in the tax bracket or not, we have to check that one as per the Income Tax of 1961. For understanding income tax law in India, the following components need to be studied carefully. They're saying that one, I should know that each and every information for the purpose of whether I'm going to fall in the brackets of 1961 Act or not, whether any rules has been changed in the Income Tax Act or not, we should know that one. We should have the updated information with us so that whether I'm going to fall in the bracket of income tax or not, whether the income, whatever I've earned here, it is exempted from tax, and on what basis the taxes are exempted, on which type of sources it's going to be exempted, or only the certain margin of amount is taxable in my hands with the help of deductions or any support standard deductions, whatever we have in the act. So everything we can learn and we can get the information, but we should have a grip on that one. The first we should know what is Income Tax Act of 1961, and then we should know Annual Finance Act, income tax rules and notification circulars issued on time-to-time basis, and judicial decisions. What are the terms we have here? So every term we have to understand in depth, so then we can know and we can educate ourselves easily, so I'll be safer side whether to pay the tax or not to the government. Income Tax Act 1961. The levy of income tax India is governed Income Tax Act 1961, which extends to all India, came into force on 1st April 1962. See, this act was framed in the year 1961, but it came into existence, means it came into applicable for the persons of the entire nation from 1/4/1962. So now, if this is the act what we have framed in 1961 came into force. So if they ask any question like, which was your first previous year and assessment year, we have to say 1962-63 and 63-64. So my first assessment year was 63-64 and my first previous year was 1962-63 because it came into force from 1/4/1962. In this act, we have totally 298 sections which explains each and every terms, whatever we have to be considered while calculating the income tax. And we have 14 schedules are controlling entire this 298 sections. It contains certain provisions, determination of taxable income, tax liability, assessment procedure, appeals, penalties, and prosecutions. So the act is going to support in such a way that certain provisions are there which supports the individuals or business people to get avoid from the taxes or to control the income or to control the proper concept of finance. So we can avoid that one and we can be benefited with the support of the government. And how to calculate the income and which are the things has to be considered and why we have to consider each and every concepts are there in the Income Tax Act concepts. And if I'm going to pay the tax bit later, so for that, what is the penalty will be levied and how they're going to levy the penalty, or if I don't declare the income, so what Income Tax Act is going to take action on us. So every concept has been discussed here. These undergo changes every year. They're saying that every year the act will be changed. It means they'll be adding either 1 or 2 points for the income tax concepts where they're going to support for the taxpayers in all the ranges, whatever we have here. In all this concept, they're going to support every 1 year so that they can get benefited from the income, whatever they're earning from different sources. Annual Finance Act. What is Annual Finance? Every year the finance bill is introduced by the finance minister of the government in the month of February, and they're going to in the parliament budget session. When the finance bill is passed by both the houses of the parliament and gets assent of the president, it becomes the Finance Act. They're saying that one, if I want to change anything in the Income Tax Act rules and what are the things are to be considered for the betterment of the nation, the finance minister is going to present the concept how we are going to levy the tax and how much we are going to levy tax and what basis we are levying and how it will be benefited for the nation. So these things, the bill has to be passed in both the houses of the parliament. Later, the bill will be given to the president, and after the approval of president, we are going to say the finance bill is amended and approved. The finance bill is passed. Amendments are made every year to the Income Tax 1961 and the other tax law by the Finance Act. Every year, they're going to have a small modification in the process of levying the tax or charging the tax or the source and nature of income which has to be considered and which should not be considered. Finance will also mention the rates of income taxes. Every year, the slab rate will be changing. So based on the slab rate, they're going to levy the tax. And even we have certain concept for individuals, a different slab rate is it. Women SSC, we have different slab rates. Senior citizens, we have separate slab rates. Super senior citizens, we have different slab rates. So every year, they're going to modify the rates of taxes for the benefit of individual as well as for the benefit of the nation. Therefore, the Income Tax Act is settled law. The operative effort is given by the Annual Finance Act. It is totally settled in the collection of amount from the public in the form of tax for the sources, whatever they earned with the benefit of the government support or with the natural thing, whatever they're earning in the nation to survive. Income Tax Act Rules 1962, what it says. Earlier, it was called Central Board of Direct Taxes, looks after the administration of direct taxes and is empowered under Section 295. So, under Section 295, clearly they have informed how many people will be there to control the direct taxes and what is their designation will be there and how they're going to be appointed and what the rules and regulations will be framed under this act should be controlled by the Central Board of Direct Taxes. These rules were first framed in 1962 and they are collectively called as income tax rules. The rules was framed in 1962 and came into existence from 1st April 1962. The power to make the rules under this section shall include the power to give retrospective effective but not earlier than date of commencement of this act. They're saying that when the power was given to frame all the rules and regulations, but they said that when not earlier than the date of commencement of this act. Means before that, in the year of 1960 or 1959, they have not given anything power to frame the things. Only after getting the approval of Act 1961, they started to frame and they started to collect the information how to levy the tax and how much to levy the tax and how to collect the tax and which are the aids should be created or framed and what are the types of income should be there. Everything was discussed here. Circulars and notification. Circulars are issued by the CBDT from time to time to deal with the certain specific problems and clarify doubts regarding the scope and meaning of the provisions. Every time after the budget in the month of February, from that date till the next budget, the CBDT will send circulars and information to the general public as well as or for all the taxpayers that in. So what are the provisions has been made and how the provisions have been made and on what basis they have made certain changes, whether it is benefited or not. If they have the people, assessees are having any doubts or if it requires any clarity, how they're going to collect the tax and what are the amount I have to pay for the government. So every doubts will be cleared with the support of CBDT and they're going to inform what provisions are there and what is the benefit will be there for the assessee. Judicial decisions. These are the important and unavoidable part of the study of income tax law. For the Parliament, it is not possible to provide all the possible issues that may arise in the implementation of any act and hence the judiciary will have to consider various cases between the assessees and the department and give decision on various issues. Means that everything, whatever the act is going to be framed with the new changes, some of the people may not accept that one, but the law has been framed here. The assessee has to follow the norms or the provisions framed by the Income Tax Act and they have to obey for that one and they have to work according to the rules and regulations framed by this act. So if anything is there, they're going to have a thorough discussion will be made, inform the assessees why these changes has taken place and we can't consider the small points or the large points which may affect the nation. Assessee may say that when this is going to be huge amount the tax is levied by the government, but they're going to give the clear-cut picture why the taxes are collected from the public and what is the necessity and how they're going to use these funds for the betterment of the society only. The types of taxes. We have the types of taxes, direct taxes and indirect tax. There are two types of taxes here, direct tax and indirect tax. Under direct tax, we have income tax, corporate tax and wealth tax we have here. Under indirect tax, we have goods and services tax. So now, how many types of taxes we have? Two. Which are those taxes? Direct tax and indirect tax. How many types of direct taxes are there? Three. Income tax, corporate tax and wealth tax. How many types of indirect taxes are there? Only one, that is goods and services tax. So there will be compulsory 2 marks question for you people. So understand this concept and write it in the examination easily to get your center marks. In the upcoming session, we are going to discuss the types of income under Section 2, Subclause 24 as per Income Tax Act of 1961, heads of income, brief history of income tax in India, how it came and when it came, which was the first year they started to collect the tax from the public? Who started that one, and what was the need to start the collection or levy of tax from the public? Thank you to 5th Sem BCom students. In today's session, we have learned about the income tax rules as well as types of income. Thank you once again.